On Planet Vegeta, a Saiyan child was born with an unremarkable power level. He was small, frail, and the child of two low-class Saiyan parents, Bardock and Gine. While 5 years earlier, a Saiyan was born with an abnormally high power level that fluctuates to completely unprecedented amounts, the Saiyan infant we're talking about, Kakarot, is the exact opposite. Sometimes, Kakarot's power level would drop to 0, and when it does, his hair would change to red. Little do the Saiyans know, this child is tapping into God Ki for brief moments, the undetectable power that is only found in use by the deities of their universe. With basically no notable power level and a seeming genetic defect, Kakarot is still sent to Earth where he would be found by Grandpa Gohan, bump his head, and further suppress the godly power. This God Ki remains within Goku for the entirety of his journey through Dragon Ball, only revealing itself in brief glimpses to aid Goku in vital moments, like the defeat of both Piccolos. However, with Kami seeing this godly power revealed firsthand, he realizes the boy he trained was becoming a man that would be unmatched by anyone else on Earth. In the 5-year time skip between Piccolo Jr. and Raditz, Goku was told by Kami to focus on trying to control the power deep within him. Kami didn't want to tell Goku that this was God Ki, but at the very least sees merits in Goku being able to control it before it ravages his body. But before getting into that though, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Only 20% of the people who watch these videos are subscribed, so hit that sub button so you never miss an upload. You can always unsub in the future if you change your mind. So, Goku would train with the goal of controlling his God form. As we know, Super Saiyan God is just a base Saiyan with God Ki, something even Vegeta could obtain without a ritual due to the simplicity of the concept. This is why whenever Goku's God Ki activates, his hair turns red and his body becomes slimmer. He's essentially transforming into Super Saiyan God unknowingly. Despite Goku training specifically to control this power and this transformation, he just can't manage to do it yet. After training extra hard during the 5-year time skip, he only manages to increase his power level to 1000, a notable increase from the original, but nothing ridiculous. This of course leaves him weaker than the threat that's hurtling towards the planet, the estranged Saiyan brother of Goku, Raditz. As per usual, Raditz arrives on the day of the Z-Fighter reunion. While Goku is stronger and able to hold his own against his brother for a moment is all the extra he receives. Once Goku is knocked away, Raditz steals Gohan. This would of course lead to the Piccolo-Goku team-up, the difference being that Piccolo is at a power level of 900. Desperately trying to keep up with Goku's growing power has paid off for him well. Once Goku is sure of Piccolo's intentions, the two fly off to face down Raditz and save Gohan. As they fly to Raditz's location, Piccolo asks why Goku didn't use the power of his red-haired form, and Goku can't help but chuckle. The Saiyan tells Piccolo that the red-haired form is something he's only used once in the last 5 years, and when he did, the power destroyed neighboring mountains. Goku fears using it again without control could lead to the accidental destruction of the planet. The answer was more terrifying than Raditz, so Piccolo doesn't pry any further. The two arrive in front of Raditz, who laughs at their arrogance. The fact that these two think they can face him is pathetically optimistic at best, and utterly foolish at worst. That's when his scouter begins to beep as they remove their weighted clothing. Goku's power jumps only to 1100 since his clothes have not changed weight in 5 years, but Piccolo's power increase is greater due to his ability to increase the weight of his clothing. This also puts Piccolo at a power level of 1100. The two are rivals in the truest form, and they show it in their battle against Raditz. Their fighting styles are similar, since Goku trained with Kami, and their attacks work off each other. Raditz is quickly shown that if he doesn't take this seriously, he could lose, so he gives up on any hope of getting his brother back and begins to use his full power. Since you only need a 20% power level difference to beat an opponent easily, Raditz at a power level of 1500 is more than enough to handle them both. So, with his life on the line, Raditz makes sure to keep Piccolo and Goku separated at all times, knocking one to the ground before the other can get up and continuing that cycle. Luckily for them though, having to focus on two targets never actually gave Raditz the opportunity to finish either of them, but it was basically just torture because of it. Goku couldn't fire a Kamehameha in this position, and Piccolo couldn't charge a Makanko Sappo. Willpower is the only thing keeping the two fighting, but that just won't be enough. Goku is getting desperate, seeing the red-haired form as his only option if this keeps up. That's when Raditz's pod explodes, revealing a now enraged Gohan. But Raditz's scouter didn't go off. Immediately, Goku can tell why. Gohan's hair is red. He is a Super Saiyan God. With this massive power on his side, Gohan flies at Raditz, not simply damaging him like the original story, but putting the Saiyan at the front of death's door. Goku and Piccolo leave this battle alive. Before he dies, Raditz clicks a button on his scouter, relaying everything that had happened during the fight, and as he does, Bulma, Roshi, and Krillin arrive on the battlefield. Bulma spots the scouter and takes it from Raditz's now fresh corpse, just in time to overhear Vegeta and Nappa.
So, Raditz died to an undetectable power. Interesting. Maybe we'll make a visit to Earth to see what this is all about.
Bulma can't help but interrupt and yells at Vegeta through the scouter, threatening him to come to Earth so he can end up just like Raditz. Vegeta laughs. He's impressed that an Earthling can even use a scouter. He tells Bulma that they'll arrive in a year of Earth time to have a fun battle against Kakarot and his son. As for ending up like Raditz, he tells her that Nappa is like 3 Raditzes, and that he himself is like 10. The scouter's communication clicks off and Bulma tells everyone what's going to happen within a year. With the goal of 10 Raditzes in mind, they have no choice but to train harder than ever. Goku tells Piccolo that they'll need to train together if they hope to have a chance, and he reluctantly agrees. So, a year would pass filled with Goku, Piccolo, and occasionally Gohan training together for the upcoming Saiyan threat. After a month, Krillin is able to gather Yamcha and Ten Shinhan, all of whom train on Kami's lookout to learn the fundamentals that they go on to refine by training at Mount Paozu with Goku and Piccolo. The 3 Earthlings end up at power levels over 3,000 each. Gohan gets to 3,500, while Goku and Piccolo tie at 10,000. The Saiyans arrive a bit earlier than expected, so when the 2 powers are sensed approaching the Earth, all the Z-Fighters go to a wasteland to remove as many potential casualties as possible. Once everyone is gathered, Piccolo and Goku can tell that Vegeta is the stronger of the 2 Saiyans and that he would outmatch everyone else should he fight them. So the 2 tell Vegeta to come with them away from the others, and he does so after seeing they boast power levels of 10,000 each, more than enough to defeat Nappa with ease. So 2 separate battles rage on, but it's clear that the Saiyans are far stronger than the opponents Earth has to offer them. Without Kaioken, Goku has no way to close the gap between himself and Vegeta, while the others don't have Piccolo's leadership to coordinate their strikes. In a seemingly simultaneous move, Nappa kills Krillin while Vegeta kills Piccolo. Things are falling apart quickly. There are no Dragon Balls anymore, and seemingly no hope. Before Goku can process the tragedy that just happened, Vegeta shouts that he's going to blow up the planet if Goku dodges this next attack. With no time to think, Goku charges a Kamehameha and gets ready to clash with Vegeta's blast. Meanwhile, Nappa begins to charge his ki and aims for Ten Shinhan and Yamcha, who are on the ground. With barely any strength left to get up, Nappa unleashes a blast from his mouth, ready to kill the 2 Earthlings, but Gohan jumps in the way of the blast and counters it with a Masenko, the special technique Piccolo taught him during their training. Goku enters Gohan's mind with telepathy and tells him that he has to use the power they trained with at home. He has to activate the red-haired form. Gohan is scared to use that power. He tells his father that he might destroy the planet if he does, but Goku tells him to aim his blast a little bit upward, and that should be enough to not destroy the planet. So, Gohan grits his teeth and trusts his father. His arms raise slightly higher, and he activates his God Ki. Goku does the same, and both are able to defeat their opponent in one swift attack. So, the day is saved, but while Ten Shinhan and Yamcha barely survived, Piccolo and Krillin weren't so lucky. Goku is angry at himself for being too weak to save them, but that's when Mr. Popo and Bulma arrive on the battlefield with good news. Popo told Bulma that Kami wasn't from Earth, and so they have a chance to get Dragon Balls from his home world and save everyone. Goku is ecstatic, and even Gohan begins to tear up at the good news. Bulma says she'll repair Kami's ship for the journey, and Gohan even suggests using the Saiyan ships as well. Bulma's impressed by his intuition and agrees that that would be a smart move. So Bulma and her father get to work on a spaceship for the journey. Little did they know though, the galactic tyrant Frieza would get to planet Namek first, and he would be in the way of their plans.
The spaceship is ready to go, but the question is, who will make the journey? Ten Shinhan and Yamcha are still recovering from their fight with Nappa, and Chi-Chi is unbudging on letting Gohan go. This journey seems like it'll be relegated to just Goku and Bulma, but before he leaves, Goku tells Gohan to keep training his mind. Chi-Chi looks ecstatic hearing Goku tell Gohan to keep up with his studies, but Gohan knew that wasn't what he meant. This red-haired power, the power of the gods, was not just physically demanding, but it equally requires mental fortitude to control. Bulma and Goku make their way to the spaceship, but before they go, Master Karin shows up and gives them a bag of senzu. Since Goku didn't use the senzu more than once previously, there are currently 6 senzu total, since Yajirobe was still eating them over time. Goku thanks his master for the gift and hopes he won't need them. Bulma and Goku enter the ship and take off on a 2-month journey to Namek. Goku does some image training on the ship to further his control of his god form, but he doesn't gain any power from this journey. The lack of gravity room really hinders that. After 2 months, they arrive on Namek. Goku still at a base power level of 10,000. Immediately, Goku can sense some powers beyond, and some powers fading as well. He tells Bulma to wait by the ship, and he flies off to find where these powers are disappearing from. Goku arrives at a nearby Namekian village being ransacked by some of Frieza's men. He instantly takes them out in a single sweep, and the village thanks him for his help. Meanwhile, Frieza sees that a bunch of his men have disappeared off his scouter. "It appears that we have an upstart trying to save these precious people," Frieza laughs to himself. "Zarbon, Dodoria, take care of this pest." So, without hesitation, Zarbon and Dodoria fly towards Goku's location. Goku can sense the massive powers flying towards him and instantly knows that he's no match for them. He takes a stance and prepares to transform, but before he can, he's kicked by Zarbon flying in. Goku takes heavy damage instantly, rolling back on the ground. Zarbon begins to laugh, realizing that Goku's power is truly only 10,000. Dodoria was unnecessary, and since Frieza is watching on his scouter, Zarbon can get the finishing blow and Frieza's praise. Dodoria says they're sharing the credit for this, and the two begin to argue over it. This gives Goku enough time to turn into his god form. Both Zarbon and Dodoria are terrified, but their scouters read nothing. Frieza also notices that his scouter is saying this enemy is still alive with a power level of 0. That's happened once before, but he can't remember when, so he continues to watch the battle. Zarbon and Dodoria nod at each other and charge in. Goku quickly dodges their attacks and hits them both on the back of the neck. They instantly fall to the ground. Goku looks around at all the dead Namekians in this village, and Goku blasts Zarbon and Dodoria, ending them both. Frieza is taken aback by the power he witnessed, so he tells his troops to stay back while he investigates this personally. Frieza arrives to quickly see the red-haired Goku facing him down. Goku drops back to base form, and Frieza's scouter begins to sense a power level again, 10,000. Goku is out of breath, and that initial hit hurt him good. So, he quickly takes out a senzu and eats it, restoring all his stamina instantly, but also providing him a small Zenkai boost. Goku went from a power level of 10,000 to 15,000 right in front of Frieza's eyes. "You are quite powerful indeed. It's no wonder you were able to defeat Zarbon and Dodoria so easily. I came to this world to use the Dragon Balls for a mission of peace, you see, restoring life to a dying planet under my rule. However, some of my subordinates thought this would be a good opportunity to betray me. and take the wish for themselves. I apologize for their actions, and if you could help me on this quest, I would be most grateful." Frieza had hidden his true intentions. He would sooner dispose of his own army than risk losing his wish for immortality. Goku, naive as he is, chose to believe Frieza. However, Goku needed a wish too. One of the grateful Namekians informed them that Porunga can grant 3 wishes. Frieza and Goku agreed, 2 wishes for Goku and 1 for Frieza. The two went around befriending the Namekians and collecting the Dragon Balls peacefully. Goku would defeat any of Frieza's soldiers they found along the way, saving villages as they went. Eventually, their journey led them to Guru's place. Frieza chose to wait outside with the other Dragon Balls, while Goku went in to make a request for Guru's Dragon Ball. This was the final one they needed. Before Goku left, Guru unlocked Goku's hidden potential, raising him to a further 25,000 power level. Frieza's scouter beeped as this happened, but this was still nothing compared to him, so he was confident that he could take out Goku and take all 3 wishes for himself. Guru tells Nail to go with Goku and to translate their wishes for them. Nail nods, and with that, Goku, Frieza, and Nail leave Guru's place to make their wishes. As they're flying, Goku tells Frieza that he'll make his 2 wishes first, then Frieza can make his. This made Frieza angry, but he reluctantly agrees. He'll just shout his wish for immortality first anyway. They land in an open area, and Nail summons Porunga. The minute Porunga appears, Frieza shouts his wish for immortality, and Goku shouts no. Goku turns into his god form, and Frieza's scouter drops to 0 again. "This strange occurrence has happened before, but when?" Frieza thought. Goku charged at Frieza, who laughed maniacally as he thought he was immortal now and transformed into his final form. Goku clearly had the power advantage here. Even with our lowballed multiplier of 20,000 times for Super Saiyan God, has Goku outputting a power of roughly 500 million. Even if you say that full power Frieza is 200 million because of the lack of Genki Dama damage, it's still not even close to enough. Frieza and Goku continue their battle, and Goku really does believe that Frieza is immortal, so he's not trying to defeat Frieza, rather contain him, but he doesn't know how to do it just yet. However, Nail enters Goku's mind and says that Porunga can only grant wishes made in Namekian and asks Goku to speak his wishes. Goku wishes for the revival of Krillin and Piccolo, which Porunga easily makes happen. Nail says they have 1 final wish left, and Piccolo enters Goku's mind as well. He asks to be teleported to Namek as well. He feels a calling to go there. So, it is done. Piccolo is now on Namek, and the Dragon Balls scatter once again. Goku tells Frieza that he's not immortal, and he will pay for betraying him, killing the Namekians, and even killing his own men. Frieza is now enraged and blasts Nail out of existence practically, who he blames for this happening. However, Nail is just on the verge of death. He hasn't been completely killed yet, and Piccolo is able to fly over to the battlefield and collect Nail from it. Nail asks Piccolo with his dying breath to take him to Guru, and so they go. Goku is delivering the punishment to Frieza. The fight has been only a few minutes long, and Frieza is barely standing at this point. An overall humiliating defeat on all fronts. Nail and Piccolo arrive at Guru's quickly. When they face Guru, Nail is on his dying breath and asks for permission to merge with this Namekian as a way to keep his warrior will alive. Guru allows it, and Piccolo merges with Nail. Guru tells Piccolo to come over to him, and Guru unlocks Piccolo's potential as well, on top of the merge bonus. Piccolo's power is skyrocketing, all in a matter of moments. And finally, Guru says that these are his final moments as well. The hourglass will soon run out of sand, and age will take him to the winds. But Nail had given his death meaning by giving his power to Piccolo, and so Guru wished to do the same. The wisdom of an elder and the powers of a guru could be of use to Piccolo in the future. So, Piccolo accepts this. The hints of Nail inside him sadden that Guru's time is over. With that, Piccolo merged with Guru, and his power once again went up dramatically. Piccolo was now even rivaling Goku's god form, and he has the wisdom to back it up. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Frieza is on the ground defeated. Goku told Frieza to leave this planet and never return, and as Frieza looks up, he remembers. Decades ago, Frieza had met Beerus for the first time, and his scouter read 0. The power of a god is undetectable. This is the Saiyan he destroyed Planet Vegeta because of. Not the Super Saiyan alone, but the Super Saiyan God. Frieza thought about leaving in his failure, but then came up with a different plan. He aimed the blast at the ground, ready to destroy everything to kill Goku. But before he could destroy the planet, Goku grabbed his arm and finished off Frieza. In his dying breath, Frieza uttered the name, Super Saiyan God. Now, Namek was saved, Krillin and Piccolo were revived, and Goku had defeated Frieza. The rest of Frieza's troops hurried off the planet, and Goku and Piccolo went to the spaceship. On the way back from Namek, Goku couldn't help but think about what Frieza said to him in his dying breath. Frieza called Goku a Super Saiyan God. Goku asks Piccolo what that could mean, and Piccolo actually has an answer for him. Remember, Piccolo now has the wisdom and knowledge of the Grand Elder Guru. With that knowledge, he's fully aware of the Namekian Book of Legends, which contains a prophetic story. The tale was of a courageous, pure-hearted Saiyan who transformed into a Super Saiyan alongside his 5 base Saiyan allies. They fought against the oppressive, evil rule of the other Saiyans. However, this Saiyan died in battle, and legend has it his spirit wanders the universe in search of a new Saiyan savior, the Super Saiyan God. Though, there should be a ritual for that to occur, so it does seem weird that Goku would have that ability since birth. Goku wonders if he even is the Super Saiyan God, since he didn't go through a ritual, but Piccolo quells any doubts by informing him that when his ki disappears in that red-haired state, he is using what is known as God Ki. Ritual or not, Goku is a Super Saiyan God. Goku asks if this ancient Saiyan was also a Super Saiyan God, but Piccolo scoffs at the question. He already said that that was just a Super Saiyan, whatever that is. And since the Super Saiyan God was a new savior, that would make Goku the first one. I wonder what a Super Saiyan is. I guess it doesn't matter too much. I guess that makes Gohan the second Super Saiyan God though, huh? I hope he's been training. On Earth, Gohan is trying his best to control his god powers. The mental ability required to even use the power at will was something that seemed insurmountable to Gohan, but he was slowly getting there. The journey back to Earth went by fairly quickly, and once they got back to Earth, several years passed in what felt like an instant. During that time, Piccolo and Goku have been training with Gohan, helping the child to master his god state beyond just mind, and instead embody as well. They were able to convince Chi-Chi of this because Chi-Chi was scared that that power would come out if he ever went to a school. What you may have noticed though, is that future Trunks hasn't arrived in this timeline, and that's because of 2 reasons. For starters, the change in this story is at Goku's birth. This should be well before any conceivable time reverb damage could affect. For those who don't know, one theory about time travel is it not only causes changes from the point you traveled to onwards, but it also affects things that happened before the point that you traveled back to. That's just a theory though. The second reason is that some people don't like Trunks' timeline being a constant in what ifs, and so I wanted to give you guys a story where it isn't. Help diversify the pool of what ifs a bit. Anyway, let's get back into it. As time continued to pass in the mountains in a secret lab, Dr. Gero is looking to make the ultimate being, Cell. The Doctor has been keeping an eye on Goku and Piccolo and is realizing that they have surpassed all of his current creations. Based off the power readings from Piccolo, these few years of training have pushed the 2 warriors beyond the powers of androids 16 through 20. The last resort had to happen. Dr. Gero funneled all of his time and resources into Project Cell, the artificial life form made from the cells of Goku, Piccolo, and even Frieza, as the DNA collection bots followed Goku to Namek in this version of events. Once Cell absorbs the dormant androids 17 and 18, he'll be completely unstoppable. Since Dr. Gero is giving Cell his full attention, he's growing at a remarkable rate, and by the time of age 767, he's fully grown. Meanwhile, while training with Goku and Gohan, Piccolo suggests that they collect the Dragon Balls and have them ready to use in case they're ever needed again. Once the Dragon Balls are collected, Piccolo brings them to Kami's lookout where they can be kept safe. Maybe it's his guru side telling him to do this, but he's not sure. While he's up there, Piccolo and Kami speak for the first time in years.
So, you've come back to this place after all these years. And I see you've brought company.
Piccolo was confused because he was completely alone. But then he realized what Kami meant. Nail and Guru are within him.
You're not the same Piccolo you were so long ago. I'd even go so far as to call you an ally. So, from one ally to another, let me warn you. Something on the world below is stirring. The breeze carries a scent of evil, and nature is unsettled by something unnatural. Be warned, these Dragon Balls may be needed in a short time.
Piccolo's face was calm, but his heart shuddered. The wisdom of Grand Elder Guru had Piccolo noticing the same things, but he didn't want to believe it. He waves goodbye to Kami and goes back to Mount Paozu. Back in Jiro's secret lab, Cell emerges in his imperfect form, and Dr. Jiro looks ecstatic. He tells Cell what his purpose is and the revenge they will take upon Goku. Cell looks back at Dr. Jiro and speaks for the first time.
Fighting Goku sounds entertaining.
With a whip of his tail, he destroys Dr. Jiro.
But I'll fight him on my terms.
Cell's ki was normal ki, not God ki like Goku or Gohan's transform states, so that could be sensed, and it alerted Goku and Piccolo to Cell's existence. Piccolo instantly realized that this was the thing he had been warned about by Kami, the thing that had unsettled him so very much. Goku doesn't know instant transmission in this version of events, so they had to fly over to this power they were sensing. So long as this was its full power, they should be able to take care of it for sure. But that wasn't the case. As they were flying over, they felt its power rise sharply and quickly. Cell had made its way to the main lab and absorbed Android 17. He moved over to Android 18, and as he absorbs her, Goku and Piccolo arrive. They're no match for him now. He's in the middle of his transformation, and Piccolo grabs Goku's arm, turning around and flying as fast as he can towards the lookout. They can't win if they stay here, and they can't die if they want to win. Piccolo uses telepathy to contact Gohan and tells him to make his way towards the lookout immediately. Gohan understands and flies at full speed towards the lookout as well. Then, without warning, Cell entered the minds of Goku, Piccolo, and Gohan. He's part Piccolo after all.
Run. As fast as you can run. Your fear is my entertainment.
Goku tells Piccolo to let Goku fly instead. If he uses his God form, then Cell can't track their ki to the lookout, and Piccolo tells Gohan to do the same.
That mysterious power flows from your body once again, Son Goku. Luckily, I am just like you. No, I'm better than you. I will master that power as well. In 2 days, you'll see that I am the true God amongst us, the God of Fear.
With that, Cell exited their minds, and they arrived at the lookout. Piccolo tells them that they need to use the Room of Spirit and Time for 2 days. They're gonna need all the training time they can get if they're gonna win this fight. Since Piccolo can survive entirely on water, all three could enter the Room of Spirit and Time at once, meaning they could get maximum value out of their training. Kami looks to them as they're about to enter, and he thinks it over.
Piccolo.
The former Demon King turns around to God.
The world doesn't need a god now. It needs a warrior.
Piccolo understands, but questions what will happen to the Dragon Balls.
With the wisdom of the Grand Elder and I see no reason you cannot maintain the Dragon Balls yourself.
Piccolo places his hand on Kami's chest.
I pass my title on to you. Become the god I never could be. Defend this planet as I never could. King, warrior, guru, And now, God.
Kami and Piccolo merge. The title of God has been passed on to the former Demon King. The redemption of the nameless Namekian had come full circle. They all enter the Room of Spirit and Time to begin their training. While they're in there, Cell begins to master his God Key, learning how to access the power that was his birthright. The 2 years in the Room of Spirit and Time were rigorous, but Goku came to a similar conclusion while inside as he did in the original version of events. They had to make the God form feel like their base state, advance the form to a point that there was no strain on their bodies when using it. When they emerged from the Room of Spirit and Time, they stood far above where they were when they entered it. Piccolo had the edge in terms of raw power when they went in, but through the mastering of the God form and training in it, Goku and Gohan caught up to him quickly, and they maintained near equal power the whole time. Before powering up, they all leave the lookout and begin to try and locate Cell, but they can't sense him at all. Piccolo powers up, and instantly, Cell enters their minds.
So, you've come out of hiding at last, and it seems like you're more powerful now. I mastered that God power, whatever it is, in mere hours. The 2-day wait became a courtesy for you rather than a necessity. That being said, I did have my fun while you were running from me.
Cities had been toppled, and citizens of the world were terrified. The utopia Cell sought was one ruled by fear and chaos. A world where everyone lived in fear of the monster in the shadows. That would be his fun.
Why don't you come home, Goku? I'm waiting for you here.
They make their way to Mount Paozu, and right outside of Goku's home was Cell, waiting for him. Chi-Chi hadn't noticed Cell, but she was still inside. As they land, though, Chi-Chi sees them through the window and is about to run out. She's nervous because they had been gone for days, and the news was talking about worldwide devastation. But then she sees Cell, and fear covers her face. Goku yells to Chi-Chi to stay inside, and she does. Her eyes tell Goku all he needs to hear. Protect Gohan. Goku walks up to Cell, and they face each other down. There's a quiet rage in Goku that's about to be unleashed. Coming to Mount Paozu was a taunt to Goku. Cell was saying he could kill her if he wants to. Goku won't let Cell get away with this. In front of Goku's very home stood a monster whose power and biology was based off of Goku's and Piccolo's up to around a month before they entered the Room of Spirit and Time. That means that Cell was born with the mixed power of those two, and even had Frieza added in for good measure, as I mentioned in my last video. If he had the ability to use the genetic God Key he was born with in his imperfect state, he may have been able to beat Piccolo and Goku without needing to absorb the androids at all. So when you add in Cell's power boost from becoming semi-perfect, and then even perfect on top of it, it becomes abundantly clear that the Room of Spirit and Time was absolutely required to overcome this ridiculous level of power that this villain has. After less than 2 days, Perfect Cell has a mastery of God Key, and was facing down the Goku who took years to fully master that birth power for himself. Before we get into the fight though, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and the like button if you want more Dragon Ball What Ifs in the future. Back to the story though, the fight begins, and it isn't dissimilar to the Goku and Cell fight in the original version of events. Goku seems like he's doing well, but he's clearly no match for Cell, who's holding back tremendously. This obvious power difference and the fact that it wasn't a tournament like the Cell games led to Piccolo jumping in and helping Goku. Cell laughed maniacally as Piccolo attempted to attack him.
Two ants joining forces will still be crushed by the same foot.
Piccolo and Goku were annoyed by Cell's arrogance, but he was right. They weren't making any progress like this. All three of them needed to work together to beat Cell. But wait a second. Where is their third person? Piccolo and Goku both realize that Gohan hasn't joined the fight yet, and they look down to see that Gohan looks terrified.
He never got battle experience on Namek to lose his fear of fighting villains that he had from his early childhood. And so despite him being physically older, Gohan was the same scared little boy he was back then. Seeing a being that could easily beat his father and Piccolo at the same time, both of them being people he considered stronger than himself, he can't help but be terrified. This actually annoyed Cell to the point that he knocks down Piccolo and Goku so he can close in on Gohan. When Cell gets to Gohan, he asks him, "Do you think you're too good to fight me?" Gohan was trembling. He didn't know how to respond to the question at all. He wanted to help his father and Piccolo, but his body just wouldn't move. The will to move and fight was lesser to the fear that he felt in his heart, and Cell was infuriated by it. The fear that Gohan felt wasn't a fear of Cell directly, it was a fear of fighting, a fear of conflict, and Cell couldn't have that. His utopia, his whole motive and goal was built upon the idea that people would fear him for his entertainment, and Gohan needed to learn that fear, to fear the monster in the shadows of society. Cell flies back to Goku and picks him up by his head, lifting the God Saiyan up off the ground and turning him slightly till Goku's back faced his house. Then, with one shot of Frieza's death beam from his finger, Cell kills Goku. But that wasn't all. The blast went through Goku entirely, through the exterior walls of Goku's house, and continued until it hit its target. Gohan realized what Cell did. Gohan couldn't sense his mother's presence any longer. His father and mother had been killed, and Cell just laughed.
Your fear was misplaced, child. Don't fear fighting. Don't fear conflict. Fear me.
As Cell laughed and said this, Gohan was shaking, but not in fear this time. He was furious with Cell, and his rage turned into power. Without another word, Gohan became the first Super Saiyan Blue in history. Not a Super Saiyan Blue 2 or anything either. The hair was just an artistic choice rather than some transformation statement that I'm trying to make here. Just like the original story, this is where things actually become easy for Gohan, and it's even easier because Gohan is better off in this scenario than in the original. Remember, Gohan had mental fortitude training in the last part of the series, so he isn't overcome by blind rage or arrogance. If you want to learn more about Gohan's characterization during Dragon Ball Z and even into Super, I highly recommend my Defending Gohan video that I just posted earlier this week. Back to the fight though, his powers are bursting forth, but he still has his sense of self. Piccolo can see that Gohan can win this fight now, and screams to Gohan to finish Cell off quickly. Don't take any risks. Don't let him get desperate. Gohan nods and begins to dismantle Cell with ridiculous ease. In a conclusive Kamehameha, Cell is defeated, with no chance of him or the androids ever coming back. Piccolo and Gohan fly to the lookout since the Dragon Balls are there, and they make their wish to revive Goku, Chi-Chi, and every other good person killed by Cell. The world was restored to the way it was, and now that Gohan had unlocked Super Saiyan Blue, Goku sought to unlock the same power, and he would over the course of the next 7 years. With her own death being on her mind, Chi-Chi realizes that it's good to have Gohan keep up with his training and encourages it so long as he keeps up his studies as well. The death of Chi-Chi also made Gohan realize that he can't just selfishly pursue being a scholar. He had to stay strong to be able to protect the ones he loves. So, for the next 7 years, Goku, Gohan, and Piccolo were all getting stronger together. Piccolo had to work extra to try and keep up, but what a lot of people don't realize is that Piccolo has tremendous potential as a fighter, and it comes out more when he's training directly with others. By the time 7 years had passed and the 25th Tenkaichi Budokai was near, Goku and Gohan were in the realm of the gods in terms of power, and Piccolo was keeping up with their Super Saiyan Blue forms at least to some degree. Gohan was still going to high school with Videl and in the same city, still named Satan City since Mr. Satan took credit for the defeat of Cell in this version of events as well.
Despite this, Gohan wasn't really doing any heroism as the Golden Warrior or the Great Saiyaman, so despite Videl being interested in him through pure physical attraction, she never asks him to enter the tournament or anything like that. It's actually Chi-Chi who tells Goku, Gohan, and Piccolo to enter the Tenkaichi Budokai because they need the prize money to actually stay afloat. And just so you know, Goten isn't around in this version of events. Goku has been well too focused on his training to actually get Chi-Chi pregnant again, so there's only Gohan as his son, his main focus and Chi-Chi's main focus as well. Back to the story though, they enter the tournament and are ready to secure all the 3 top prizes. But as happened originally, the tournament was interrupted by Supreme Kai and the threat of Majin Buu. Piccolo actually defeats Shin in their match since he has the power to do so, but he feels uneasy about it after he's done. However, Piccolo didn't power up enough during that match to grab the attention of Spopovich or Yamu. Then, after Spopovich beats down Videl, who is actually eliminated much more humanely and quickly due to her inability to fly, Kibito faces down Gohan as he originally did, and when Gohan shows off Super Saiyan Blue, Kibito can't believe his eyes. The power of the gods was being used by a mortal. Kibito told Gohan that wouldn't be necessary though, since Spopovich and Yamu can't detect that power with their reader, so he asked Gohan to power up in his normal state, and the power was still unbelievable. Gohan's base state from training as a god had surpassed Super Saiyan 2 Gohan from the original version of events by a significant margin, not to mention that Goku and Piccolo were in the same realm of power as well. As originally happened, Supreme Kai tries to tie down Gohan so Spopovich and Yamu can collect his energy. But Gohan is just far too strong for him and breaks out easily. He then kicks away Spopovich and Yamu, who fly away quickly, fearing that they'd be killed if they stayed any longer. Supreme Kai and Kibito say they're going to pursue them and ask the 3 of them to come along. But Goku actually tells Piccolo to stay and win the tournament, or else Chi-Chi would be really mad at them for coming home empty-handed. Piccolo understands and tells Goku not to have too much fun without him. So, Piccolo goes on to win the tournament, becoming a champion just like Goku had against him all those years ago. Meanwhile, Gohan and Goku go to face down the threat of Babidi. They were led directly to Babidi's ship by Spopovich and Yamu, who ran back to get Dabura's help in collecting energy from Gohan, who they believe may even be stronger than Dabura himself. Without a single word, Dabura kills Spopovich and Yamu on the spot, saying he has no time for jokes or failures that lead the enemy straight back to their base. Goku and Gohan are well aware how important this threat is, and so they attack Dabura the minute they see an opening. He's weaker than even their base forms, so the power of the gods isn't even required before this fight is over. Dabura is killed, and Babidi is next, and he's actually handled by Supreme Kai himself. Finally, all 3 work their way through Babidi's ship, easily defeating all his former minions as they do. The resurrection of Buu was entirely halted by Gohan and Goku alone. Supreme Kai and Kibito head back to the realm of the Kaioshin with Buu's egg, keeping it safe from all other threats in the future. During the 4-year time skip, Gohan and Videl still get married as they originally do, and the god of destruction, Beerus, has awoken. He was in search of the Super Saiyan God, but it would take him a little while to remember the name. This all leads us to Bulma's birthday party, where we find out that she settled for Yamcha and got married to him. But this was not going to be a normal day. Beerus is finally remembering the name of what he was searching for, and as he did in the original version of events, he asks Whis to locate the Super Saiyan God. Whis is happy to inform him that 2 Super Saiyan Gods exist on Earth currently, and so, without hesitation, they can head straight there should he will it. Beerus agrees, and so they head towards Earth to face down the 2 Super Saiyan Gods. The story of the Goku who was born with God Ki has taken us through all of Dragon Ball, to the battle against the Saiyans, to the manipulation of the evil Emperor Frieza, and to the deathmatch against the genetic monster Cell, and to the ship of the god-killing warlock, Babidi. But all those threats were nothing compared to the being making their way to Earth right now.
flying through space, was a god beyond gods, a power that eclipsed any mortal within the bounds of the universe. His ki was undetectable, his mannerisms are quirky, and he's extremely quick to anger should you not act the right way around him. I'm of course talking about the god of destruction, Beerus. After 39 years of sleep, Beerus has awoken and is on his way to face his rival of prophecy, the Super Saiyan God. Before Beerus arrives, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more Dragon Ball content. As Beerus makes his way to Earth, the Z-Fighters are having a party to celebrate Bulma's birthday. Due to him never meeting King Kai, Goku is at the party from the beginning. When Beerus arrives at the party, there's no warning like in the original. Elder Kai is still in the Z-Sword, Shin thinks Beerus isn't a problem as he's part of the universe's balance, and as I said, King Kai isn't actively involved in this version of events. Without the knowledge of who Beerus is or what he's capable of, the Z-Fighters let him join the party as they did originally. His gluttonous tendencies overtake him, and the enticing aromas of food make him docile for the moment. He and Whis indulge themselves until Whis reminds Beerus the true reason for their journey to Earth. Beerus swallows the food in his mouth and gets up. He approaches Goku and Gohan. When he reaches them, he asks which one of them is the Super Saiyan God. Goku and Gohan think for a second, but then Goku remembers. That's the same thing Frieza said to him on Namek. Piccolo steps in and tells Beerus that the Super Saiyan God is something that's found within the Namekian Book of Legend, and it says that it requires a ritual to unlock it. A ritual these two Saiyans have never done and never can do, since there just aren't enough people to perform the ritual. Whis interjects, "That ritual seems to be more of a shortcut to this power of the gods rather than the only means of obtaining it. What I should say is, you two already have the powers of a Super Saiyan God. Please, just show us your transformed states and we'll judge for ourselves." Goku and Gohan nod at each other and transform into their Super Saiyan blue forms. Beerus smirks and is starting to get excited. He didn't care that there were two of them because that only meant more entertainment for himself should one fail to amuse him. A violent aura begins to leak from Beerus' body and the utter pressure of his God Ki is immense. This immediately shakes Piccolo because he could recognize the power on display here. Sure, it was like Goku and Gohan's, but it was different at the same time. The wisdom of Elder Guru and Kami screamed within him that this person was a true god, beyond Kami, beyond the Kais, and even beyond the Supreme Kai. This was the god of destruction. Piccolo instantly bows to Beerus and apologizes for his casual mannerisms. He tells Beerus that he was the god of Earth and welcomes him to this domain. Beerus' power continues to flow from him, but he still turns to Piccolo and tells him that he appreciates the politeness. Further, Beerus tells the god of Earth that he has come to fight these two. The Super Saiyan God was the prophesized rival of the god of destruction, and the fact that there were two of them made his short 39-year slumber even more worth it. Beerus asks which one of the two is stronger, but before they can answer, he decides that he'd just fight Goku first. Slowly, Beerus wants to gauge the power of this Saiyan, so he starts by dodging Goku's attacks to get a feel of his rhythm. As everyone else watches the battle unfold, Gohan returns to base form, at which point Whis asks what that blue-haired form they were using actually is called. His staff recognized the red-haired state as the Super Saiyan God form, but not the blue form. Something was different about it. Gohan explains to Whis that they had a fierce battle on Earth 11 years ago, and the actions of an evil being caused Gohan to transform beyond the limits of the Super Saiyan God. Whis feels as if he's heard of something like this before, so he quickly browses the history of the Saiyan race with his staff, eventually landing on a point in time when a Saiyan tried to rebel against his fellow Saiyans. This was Yamoshi, and he transformed into the very first Super Saiyan. But this yellow-haired form clearly wasn't what they are using now. After thinking about it for a second more, Whis points his staff to Goku and scans him. The staff reveals that this is a combination of the yellow-haired Super Saiyan form and the red-haired Super Saiyan God form.
I see. By transforming again while using God Ki, you two have created an entirely new transformation. I don't understand why the hair is blue and not orange, but perhaps I should research that on my own time.
Gohan was fascinated by everything he just heard, but there was no time for that because Beerus was clearly winning the battle against Goku. After establishing a rhythm and adjusting his power to face Goku's, Beerus began to slowly escalate until there was too big of a gap in power for Goku to overcome. Beerus knocks Goku back to the boat and Piccolo catches him before he can crash through it. Beerus returns to the ship as well, and Goku starts laughing.
I guess you were saving the best for last, huh, Lord Beerus?
Beerus's eyes shift to face Gohan. You see, even though Beerus asked which one of them was stronger, he was actually able to quickly tell that the stronger of the two was in fact Gohan. So instead of waiting, he decided to charge right at the weaker one, Goku, as a warm-up for the true Battle of Gods. Gohan transforms again into his Super Saiyan Blue form and charges at Beerus, but Beerus avoids the attack. He was already adjusted to this level of power. Was Gohan toying with him? Even Goku said that Gohan was the stronger of the two of them, so what gives? Well, in Gohan's mind, the answer was obvious. This battle was for sport, not necessity. Gohan doesn't fight for fun, he fights to protect the things he loves. His wife, his parents, his friends, and his world, but to just fight for the sake of it didn't really seem right to him.
You need motivation, don't you? Start fighting seriously or I'll destroy this planet with a glance.
After that, Beerus flies up into the atmosphere and starts producing small Hakkais to rain down on the planet. Gohan would need more power than what he was using right now to stop them all. The fire begins to reignite in Gohan's spirit. His desire to protect everything behind him burns in his soul. Beerus can sense Gohan's power rising and smiles. He launches his attack to see how Gohan will respond, and Gohan throws a Kamehameha right back at him. Not only did the Kamehameha make its way through all the Hakkais, but it also kept going to Beerus himself. But once the smoke clears, Beerus is revealed to be perfectly fine. His ability to destroy also applies to ki attacks, so the moves like the Kamehameha just won't work against him here. Much like the original story, Beerus doesn't actually want to destroy Earth, he's simply pushing the limits of the Saiyan he's battling by threatening him with destruction. Beerus and Gohan continue to fight, and slowly the embers of Gohan's fighting spirit roar into a powerful flame. Beerus gets a bit overexcited and begins to beat Gohan with more power than he can handle. Gohan begins to fall back to Earth, and as he does, the voice of none other than Piccolo enters his mind. He tells Gohan that Videl has something to say to him. Piccolo allows her to enter the telepathic communication, and she tells Gohan that she's pregnant. They're going to be parents, and he needs to fight and win for their future child. The flames of Gohan's spirit became a raging inferno at that news. The world has to survive because Gohan has to meet his child. Gohan flies back to where Beerus is, and the battle continues. Beerus pushes Gohan more and more, but eventually even Gohan has a limit to reach, and that limit is well before the God of Destructions. Beerus praises Gohan for his efforts, but if this was truly all he could muster, then the Super Saiyan God was an exaggeration. Neither he nor Goku were worthy of the title of rival, and he doesn't need any Saiyan upstarts in the universe. Beerus builds up one final attack, ready to take out Earth in one single strike. It's all over. No one can stop the end from coming. Our story ends here.
Because our Saiyans all change corrupt. Our Savior people born anew. The Saiyans all must be born. Take my power.
Gohan screams back to life. His power begins to flow like it never has before. He wasn't just back to normal, he was stronger than ever. Beerus was impressed by his tenacity, but that wouldn't be enough this time. Gohan quickly destroys the Hakkai headed towards Earth and rushes at Beerus. The God of Destruction is shocked that he managed to destroy the attack, and he starts getting excited all over again. Their battle rages on, and Beerus is noticing a change within Gohan. He's sensing more power than just Gohan's. Something or someone else is fueling Gohan right now. Gohan lands a punch on Beerus' face, and it's clear that the God of Destruction is not amused in the slightest.
You've done well, Saiyan. Consider me impressed.
Beerus then gets behind Gohan before he could even notice, and hits him in the back of the neck to knock him out. Beerus lets out a sigh of relief. Should he have kept going, he may have had to tap into his true power, and that wasn't the safest thing to do. He carries Gohan back down to Earth and drops him on the ship. Beerus asks Whis if he's made them a to-go box, and he says yes, so Beerus says they'll be making their leave. Gohan starts to regain consciousness and asks why Beerus isn't destroying the Earth. Beerus tells him that the Saiyans he knew were cowards. They based their strength off of what they could measure from birth, and were scared of anything above themselves. Violent, cruel, and cowardly are a hideous combination, but Goku and Gohan were different than them. These two weren't like those Saiyans at all, and he'd like to see them again. With that, Beerus and Whis make their way back home. Piccolo grabs some senzu for Goku and Gohan, and the party continues as normal. Things are once again peaceful on Earth. Now, Goku, Gohan, and Piccolo find themselves training on Beerus' planet under the guidance of Whis. With the Dragon Balls kept secure on the lookout, there is no revival of Frieza, so we have plenty of time until the Universe 6 tournament. However, with only 3 notable fighters, can Universe 7 pull ahead? Beerus seems to think so, as he tells them that they won't even bother finding another 2 fighters. So, the few days pass until the tournament begins, but during that time, Goku, Piccolo, and Gohan use the Room of Spirit and Time together. After the incident with Cell, Piccolo had upgraded the time chamber to not have a time limit, so our 3 heroes trained together for 3 years. Now it's time for the tournament to begin. The order for the tournament is Piccolo, Goku, then Gohan, while Universe 6's order remains the same. Piccolo doesn't have the tendency to hold back like Goku does, and because of this, he takes out Botomo and Frost with relative ease. This means Vegeta is next, and with the enclosure over the top of the arena, the fight is actually extremely difficult for Piccolo. Namekians survive entirely off water if you didn't know. This means the heat is incredibly negative to their physical health. With no other option left, Piccolo activates his God Ki that he learned from Whis' training, so he can overpower Vegeta, and this results in a double knockout, Piccolo having taken out 3 of the 5 opponents, and earning a bit of Beerus' respect in the process. Next up is Goku, who will have to face the Saiyan from Universe 6, Cabba. Goku decides to have fun against Cabba, looking at him more like one of his own children rather than an enemy. That's when Cabba takes a stance reminiscent of an enemy from long ago, the stance Vegeta had taken against Goku back on Earth many, many years ago. This was nostalgic, and even better, it makes Goku excited to fight someone just for the sake of testing each other rather than having the fate of the world on the line. Goku decides to take his time battling Cabba, and he becomes more interested in the Saiyans as a whole, a universe where the Saiyans weren't malicious like the Saiyans in Universe 7, and they were able to become so much more because of it. Eventually, Goku begins to use more and more of his power, eventually leading to his victory against the young Saiyan. Before he leaves the arena, Goku stops Cabba and tells him that they should fight again sometime, but before they do, he should ask Vados about using God Ki. Cabba nods and returns to the benches, making way for the legendary assassin of Universe 6, Hit, to enter the arena. The true fight was finally about to begin. Hit and Goku stare each other down. Goku can tell immediately that Hit's power will require Super Saiyan Blue right off the bat, so he transforms and gives off an immense pressure with his God Ki. Hit doesn't show it, but there's a slight excitement boiling inside him. Could this be the first opponent to actually give him a challenge? The tournament gong rings and Goku takes a fighting stance, but Hit keeps his hands in his pocket and slowly walks towards Goku, eventually disappearing. In what can only be described as an instant, Hit appears in front of Goku, striking him in the stomach, or so it seems. Goku had actually caught the punch before it could connect. He was able to react to Hit's reappearance faster than Hit could strike, and that's because of one thing. Goku was just far superior to his canon self at this point in the story, and I'm even including Kaioken times 10. For starters, Goku had unlocked Super Saiyan God and Blue before Beerus and Whis ever came into their lives, so he had a mastery of God Ki. In the original story, it took Goku and Vegeta months to fully understand using God Ki, let alone mastering it. Since God Ki is already mastered by Goku and Gohan, they are able to train for power with Whis for longer. Not to mention the fact that Goku and Gohan were stronger than Super Saiyan God Goku in the Battle of God's arc during their version of that arc, and they got to train for another 3 years together with a God Ki Piccolo as well, making the training more effective than what Vegeta and Goku were able to do in canon. Overall, there are a ton of factors that can easily make up for and overcome Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10, so this fight with Hit isn't an issue. As Hit keeps attempting time skips, his ability improves as well. Goku has been going easy on him for the sake of having fun, but he realizes that he won't be able to keep this up if Hit's improvement rate remains the same. Goku pulls away from Hit and yells timeout to the referee. Then he turns and looks up to Gohan and asks if Gohan is okay with not getting a chance to fight. Gohan tells him it's not a problem, so Goku tells the referee that he's ready, and the match continues, but this time, Goku is outmatching Hit's time skip by an overwhelming degree. His reaction speed was so good that even though he didn't know Hit was actually skipping time, it didn't matter. The general idea of what was going on was enough. So, the fight only lasts a few more minutes and inevitably ends with the Universe 6 assassin being defeated. So, with Universe 7 claiming victory, Beerus wishes for Universe 6's Earth to be restored with the Super Dragon Balls, Zeno comes and scolds Beerus and Champa, Goku becomes friends with Zeno, and all ends well as it did originally. Now, this is where things get weird though. Zamasu. We don't have a future Trunks arc in this version of the story, instead, we have a Goku Black arc. The notable difference here is that we don't have an actual future Trunks who needs saving, but we still have a Supreme Kai in training who's looking to rise against mortals. This eventually culminates when Gowasu shows Zamasu the tournament between Universe 6 and Universe 7, the moment Zamasu sees the mortal that rivals the gods, Goku. With this in mind, Zamasu goes on to learn about the Super Dragon Balls, kills Gowasu, and uses the time ring to skip forward in time by 1 year to when the Super Dragon Balls are active again. That's when Zamasu makes his wish to switch bodies with the Saiyan born a god, Son Goku. Everyone is back on Earth at this point, so when the switch happens, Gohan and Piccolo notice not only a change in Goku's ki, but also a new presence on Earth. The two rush over to find out what's going on, but when they arrive, it's too late. Chi-Chi and Goku in Zamasu's body are already dead, only Goku Black remains. Tears begin to stream down Gohan's eyes as he rushes over to the body of his mother, and Piccolo goes towards Goku Black to ask what happened here, but as he does, he notices that the presence he feels isn't Goku's. Quickly, Piccolo strikes Goku Black, who easily catches Piccolo's punch. Gohan screams, asking Piccolo what he thinks he's doing, but Piccolo tells Gohan to sharpen up. This isn't Goku. This is the person who killed Chi-Chi. Goku Black begins to laugh and applaud Piccolo for his quick deduction. Black tells Piccolo that he's correct, and that the body that held Son Goku's spirit was now on the ground over there. Piccolo looks at the body and he puts it all together. The wisdom of Kami and Elder Guru tells him that the body is a Kai's body, and the clothing this Goku imposter is wearing are the formal wear of the Kais as well. A god has gone rogue, and they need to stop him here and now. Piccolo tells Gohan to remove their bodies from the battlefield, and so he does. Piccolo activates his God Ki and charges at Goku Black. The two have a back and forth. Seemingly the fight was in Piccolo's favor, but that became less the case as the fight goes on. Goku Black is getting stronger in battle, and Piccolo can't keep up with his evolution. Eventually, Piccolo is knocked away, and Goku Black goes in for the final blow. That's when Gohan returns as a Super Saiyan Blue and knocks Black away in response. No matter how strong Black is in Goku's body, he wouldn't be able to overcome the difference of Super Saiyan Blue. Goku Black once again laughs as he rises from the ground.
Super Saiyan Blue, a pale imitation of the power of the gods. But if you can do it, so can I.
Goku Black begins to power up and transforms into Super Saiyan Rose. The appearance is still Rose due to it using Zamasu ki rather than Goku's. The power is staggering, but Gohan doesn't back down and the two begin to clash. At this point, Piccolo is outclassed, so he steps back to make sure he isn't in Gohan's way. As the two fight, they appear to be even, and a smile appears on Goku Black's face. He's ecstatic at the idea of getting stronger, and he sees Gohan as a gateway to that strength. That was until Gohan landed a powerful punch on Goku Black's stomach. Black is sent flying backwards, and Gohan stands above him. Goku Black asks Gohan how he's even competing with him. He saw Goku at the tournament. Goku was the strongest one there. Gohan tells Black, though, he's wrong. His father is extremely powerful, one of the most powerful people in the universe by far, but Gohan is stronger. Ever since he was a child, Gohan always had the potential to be the strongest, and as an adult, his father could never even catch up. Goku Black took the wrong body, and that would be his downfall. Gohan yells to Piccolo asking if they can get Goku's body back after killing Black, and Piccolo says he'll ask King Yama to create a new body for the revived Goku. Gohan smiles and charges a blast. He fires it and blows a hole right through Goku Black's chest. The terror is now over. Now, they need to revive Chi-Chi and Goku for things to go back to normal.
It's a good thing I've prepared for everything.
With no counterpart to rely on, Goku Black went an extra year into the future and wished for immortality before going back in time a year to kill Goku. With an immortal Goku Black, the situation just became much worse. He was getting stronger every moment of the fight, and they couldn't even kill him. Piccolo enters Gohan's mind and tells him they'll have to talk in secret through telepathy in order to work around Black's powers. Gohan agrees, and Piccolo tells Gohan to switch out. When they pass each other, there'll be a moment where Gohan can take a senzu from Piccolo. So they do, and Piccolo starts battling an unwinnable fight. Gohan eats the senzu, and the two switch again. Goku Black is becoming more excited by the second with this battle. These two were perfect for growing his seemingly limitless battle power. That's when Gohan blasts both of Goku Black's legs before jumping away.
You're immortal, but it takes a moment for serious wounds to heal.
Black laughs and wonders what sort of ridiculous plan they've come up with. That's when he hears Piccolo shout the word Mafuba, the evil containment wave. The best way to deal with an immortal is to seal them away, something even Beerus and Whis agree with. So Piccolo seals Goku Black in a jar he made with the same technique he makes clothes with, ending the threat of Goku Black once and for all. Piccolo takes the bottle with Goku Black in it and brings it to the lookout, where it could never be unsealed again. Piccolo then takes the Dragon Balls out and brings forth Shenron. Through the wisdom of Elder Guru, the Dragon Balls have been upgraded since Piccolo became God, so they can revive people indefinitely. King Yama created a new body for Goku in the afterlife, so when revived, he was back to normal, as was Chi-Chi. The world was saved, and things were back to normal for now. Peace has returned to the universe for the time being, but maybe we have a tournament to look forward to in the near future. I don't think Goku got a Zeno button this time, so I'm not too sure about that one. Guess we'll have to save that for a potential next part. But for now, consider this a finale type part. Make sure you hit like and subscribe for more Dragon Ball content, and thank you so very much for watching.